good morning, good evening, good night, whatever time it is you're watching this video. This is just my porch chat about today. I come out here again because it reminds me where I am. But today, last minute too, I got up and didn't walk or work out. I think it's the first morning I have not walked or worked out. But saw something about a walking tour for coffee and an urban walking tour, so in the city, so I didn't have to drive or be in a car for a couple hours. So I took it. Cool cat named Sebastian. He knows a lot about coffee, a lot about Medellin, the history and so on. So I recorded some of it, with his permission, of course, of where we went to taste some cups and so on. But I'm gonna tell you something. It ran long. Instead of 10 to 1, it ran like 2:30, and I was burned. I was like, "How much coffee you got?" I mean, I don't even want to hear anything about coffee right now. Although I did bring some back. They did give us a bag of it, so I will be cooking that in the morning. Brewing it in the morning. Anyway, so I'm getting ready to show that video of the tour, just walking around, like a view of Comuna 13, which is like where they had a lot of issues, but according to him, a lot of the areas had a lot of issues. And this is recent as 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. But gave a history of how it all started, how people ended up on the side of the mountain in so-called favelas, quote unquote. Anyway, so I'm getting ready to show that video. Pretty much after that, I came back and ran to the mall very quick. And by the time I got back, I fell asleep, so I've been asleep for the past 4 hours. So this is the first time I'm going out at 10 something at night. Normally I'm on my way back. But while I was out at the bar, I was walking across the street and found that there is a casino. There's a lot of casinos around. So, and I walked inside, and the guy up front, the concierge, actually spoke English. So they do have Texas Hold'em, but you only play against the dealer. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how this is going to work. And he says it's like 10 mil, it'll be 10 mil, 5 mil, or 10 mil, 20 mil, whatever it is, which is like 10 mil is 10,000, and it's like a little bit less than $3. So we'll see. And it's only about 0.6 miles away. It's I got to walk up a little bit of the mountain, but hey, instead of taking an Uber for 90 cents, I'm gonna walk myself over. That's one thing with the window open and resting there, man. Every once in a while, somebody with some noise like my bike comes through and it's obnoxious. Anyway, I wish I would have rented the motorcycle. I did not rent the motorcycle because they said the weather was going to be bad, and it was beautiful today. It's beautiful now. I cannot explain or stress the weather enough. Man, it's got to be like 75, but like, I don't know, a perfect 75. It's crazy. And this weather is crazy. So if you're going to come, again, the number one reason to come is the weather. I know my buddy Lynn is listening in. What's up, man? This is the trip for you. This is something you would do. Man, you need to come down. Actually, the cats that I shared the tour with today were like, I don't know, early 20s, just graduated college out of LA, and this was their trip of a lifetime. I wish I had a trip of a lifetime when I was 22, or however old they were. Again, they were coming from LA. Cool kids, though. I can only imagine what school they went to. Really nice guys. But yeah, so they were leaving here. They were leaving tomorrow. I think he's going to Cartagena. The guys from the spot were going to Cartagena this weekend, but because of weather, and I don't know. I like getting up and going when I like to go, like this walking tour today. I need a tour on wheels so I can wheel up out of there, because I wasn't trying to walk but for so far. Let's see, where is it? Anyway, so I'm getting ready to go to the casino. I'll show the video of the tour. I'll kind of put those videos together best I can. It does take time to edit it. So again, thanks for watching. Please like. It's easy. Right now, click the like button. It's like a thumbs up. Click it. Please click the thumbs up, because people see it but they don't click the thumbs up. And subscribe and click the bell. If you click the bell, then you get an alert every time I do a video. Anyway, hope everybody's having a good evening, a nice Saturday night. I'm here by myself, but I gotta entertain myself. No travel partner on this trip to help me decide what I'm going to do next. So, you know what? That takes effort. That takes work. What am I going to do? I know that's a rough problem, right? But I still have to decide, what am I going to do? Do I want to go? Do I want to get dressed? Do I want to walk? Do I want to take it over? I don't know. I got to decide all this stuff. Anyway, peace out. Thanks for watching. Bye.
To understand why the metro changed our mindset, we have to understand what our mindset was at that point, which was a little bit different. Colombia has been at war forever. We've really been at war forever. We had our independence war, and after independence war, we basically had like a low-key civil wars going around the country for like 1 year and 1 point, that it dies down, there's another one, dies down, another. But anyway,
This is Comuna 13. That quarry over there is where he said the bodies were buried during the war years ago.
please get in there for 1 second, and I'll be right there with you in a minute. So, right here, the first thing I want to show you. Hola! This is Joanna. This is our administrator. And, Joanna, ¿te puedo con las bolsitas? ¿Los podemos traer aquí un momentico? So, in the meeting they decided to move them, I'm going to ask them to move them back, but one of the things is, this are the 8 brands that started this company. So, the 8 brands are Café Don Modesto, Mitaca Café, Café Refugio, Bori Café, the one you're going to get later on, Café Don Cesar, Café Cocondo, Café Las Marias, and Suroeste Gold Coffee. Those are the brands that started this. The reason they started this factory is because they wanted to get bigger quality. So the 3 things this factory works with, let's go over there so we like leave it if you need something else for a second. Because also here's the space where you can leave your backpacks, your whatever you want to leave. You got a problem. Put them here in the corner like mine. Don't put them in the window because it's a window. But other than that, it's fine to leave whatever you want to leave over here. So,
Is it okay if I record?
yeah, sure, of course. The 3 things they based this space upon is this. First, attention to quality. Whoever works in this factory, unfortunately, we can't have the employees over here, everything I told you, are expected to do whatever they can do to improve the quality of what they're doing. So it's not like, oh, my contract doesn't include this. You got free time? Okay, or that. Whatever you can do to make everything better, you make it better. Second is, they care a lot about single origin. For this factory, single origin means 1 crop. We have 2 crops of coffee a year. 1 sub-strain. So it's like, yeah, Arabica is a species. But for example, we have Caturro Chiroso. If you have in your farm Caturro Chiroso and Castillo, you don't mix them and bring them here and use them as single origin. That is not single origin. They're not the same subspecies. You do that. 1 crop, 1 space. If you have 3 farms, and the farms are not neighbor farms, that is not single origin. We don't care if it's the same company, different spaces, different soil chemistry, different climate, different coffee. That is single origin for them, which, as far as I've read, is the highest way of single origin I've seen. Like the only thing that would be the same thing is like it had to be grown the same day. Like I don't know about that. Anyway, here's the thing we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you guys where the bathroom is. If you wanna like either like put some water on your face or like go to the bathroom in a second. I'm gonna show some things over here. And the first place we're gonna meet is the second. Oh no, right here outside we're gonna have a poster. So you guys are good with that. I'm gonna solve some things and we meet here in maybe 2 minutes. Cool? Sure. Fine. So let me show you where the bathroom is before we meet. Todos los problemas del mundo. Sí, mucho por hacer. Entonces voy a ir a cargar nuestra preferencia de ese polígono y le paso los 6 kilómetros. Ahí hay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chiquitos. Este es el mismo de jardín, sí. A ver si nos va a dar. No, sí, quitamos más cafeína aquí, mi mamá. Lo voy a utilizar y acá. ¿Es por lo que saqué? Este es lo único que se necesita, es una probadora. Nada más. Y ya podemos empezar. Sí, pero se sacan de 2 gramos por persona, o sea, es una cantidad mínima.
Ah, pero ellos se llevan un poquito.
No, se sacan 2 gramos para probar.
Ah, ya.
Sí,
Tú vas a dejar
si quieres, no te preocupes, si quieres acompañamos y ves cómo se ve. Guys, everything ready? Come over here, I'll show you a little bit of things over here, and then we start with the coffee over there, because I already scouted what coffee we have over there. I'm going to show you something right here. So, I'm not showing you the poster because we don't have a coffee plant over here. If you look out that window, you'll realize that there's one plant with dark gray leaves. That is a coffee plant. The issue with coffee plants is coffee plants take up to 20 years to become productive. So I'm not gonna have a coffee plant when we started tour like 1-2 years ago that really has a productive coffee going on. So I show you this poster. First thing I want to show you in the poster is this, the flowers. You can approach if you want, because I don't think you guys are like taking some. This coffee right here is actually the coffee we're gonna drink later on. This is Cody's brand, and this is Caturro Chiroso. Caturro Chiroso is a sub-strand that has actually won the most competitions in Colombia for the last 2 years. You can get your hands in, you can touch it, you can smell it, and you can use my flashlight to give it a look. Please jump in. This is an interactive tour. You can touch it. It's not going to harm it any, because when they roast it, whatever you put on that with your filthy hands is going to die.
Can you put your flashlight on that?
So the color you should be seeing is this color, like a pale emerald green with some shine to it. And what you should be smelling is like grass, very dry, no notes whatsoever. My friend, have some here. You can pass it on to me later on.
Can you eat these?
Yeah, but there's nothing to them. Like, you can take one, but you're not gonna get any out of it, really. It's very hard, so don't bite it if you have one.
Can I hold it there?
Yeah.
Hold a handful?
And after you get done with that, you can dunk it back in the bag and be done with it. Actually, this is the coffee you're gonna roast later on. I already took the sample, so it's gonna be fun.
These smaller beans? Like, are these?
No, those are actually the big ones. I'm gonna show you how they get separated over there. Unfortunately, we can't use it because they're gonna repair it, and if we use it, we leave it dirty inside, and then Like they're gonna repair it tomorrow, and there's no one to come here tomorrow, so unfortunately I don't have that. But I do have something that I want to show you, and it's this coffee. This is what the industry calls corriente. Corriente means average. Compare this to, and let me know
Dry tea.
which one would you like to drink if you don't know anything about coffee. That one or this one? Cool. Now get your hands in that. Smell it. Touch it. You're gonna be shocked about what that is. Corriente
No.
is a business term that is coined by the federation. Corriente means average because this coffee is sellable. This coffee is here because the brand that made it wants to improve. So brands that want to improve, they know that they can come to a factory like this because the other thing they have is a very low count of employees. There's one miller, one roaster, one administrator. 3 employees throughout the whole year. In the big seasons, they hire people to help them. That means the roaster is only working with 1 coffee at a time. The miller is only working with 1 coffee at a time. They know the coffee. They understand where it came from, who's making it. A lot of times, the guy who brought it can actually tell them what they're using for it, how long it has been. Like, they know everything about that coffee. That means that, yes, you can assess this and see that it's bad. Like, even like kind of leaves like a residue on your fingers that is like kind of nasty. But also, throughout the process, they're going to realize what's wrong with that coffee, what notes it's bringing out, what things are happening. And they're going to tell it, you're not taking care of the humidity. You are using too much of this or too much of that. They can feed back information to them. That is impossible in a big factory because a big factory works with big amounts of coffee. Although we can start it, that roaster works with 8 kilograms of coffee tops per roast. Rodrigo doesn't even use 8 kilograms. He uses 6 to make it consistent. So when he gets the 6 kilograms out in that bed, one of the things he does after he roasts is this, gather defects. He sits there while the thing is rolling and cooling the thing, and he gathers the coffee that didn't get a good roast. Because the more they can get of the bag you're going to get in the end, the better the quality is going to be. Coffee is a big business, but it's a small family. Everyone knows each other. So when coffee that Rodrigo is roasting is falling in quality, they might go, oh, it's the brand. Or they might go, oh, Rodrigo, not that much. But I can show you a bunch of the things. And that's one other thing I appreciate. Whenever I come here, they always let me know what's up with the coffee. And I'll let you know what's up with this coffee. When you get on top of this, you're going to realize that this coffee is the same corriente we had in the other moments. So take a look at the machine, give it a look at the whole thing. Actually, the miller sits there while the thing is going. This is really funny. Just realize this. The coffee you're seeing here on the top, because you can go to the stairs and look it up, that's the corriente coffee before getting what we call de-husked. Because this, I'm going to give you some of them too, is the husk. So this coffee sucks. It's really bad. But that's a process. From getting bad to getting good, all you need is practice and time. Get one piece on your hands and crush it in between your fingers. What you're going to realize is that you get rid of the husk, and you're going to find on the inside there's like a kind of ugly bean. But the ugly bean is actually a secondary layer, a very thin one, and there's another bean. The beans we're going to show to each other are very different. Mine, for example, has an amazing color, but it's like, if you look at it, it's squashed on several sides. This alone is telling me, you can pass mine like through your hands if you want, that one got a little bit squashed by the depulper. So, when a miller sees that and the owner comes back, he's going to be able to tell him, you're not using your depulper as well. That is going to lower the quality of the coffee you're getting. The other ones we're getting, like this one, for example, is stale. It's stayed for too long in one bag, then they mix the bags. Don't do that. You're harming the coffee. Another advice. So even though you might see the whole bag over there and go like, oh, that's a clusterfuck. Yeah, it is. But you can start to decompose that problem and start telling the owner, it's this, it's that, it's this issue, it's that issue. Now, please go up, check the color, because the comparison is this color over here, and I want you to get a comparison. You can go up. Perfect. This is absolutely perfect coffee. Like, yeah, it's amazingly looking. But I'll take a.
How do they separate out the good from the bad?
That's what this machine does, and I'm going to show what it does in one second. Sick, my friend. Here it is. Here's the sample. Here's the thing. Good. I'm gonna show you the samples in 1 minute. Hey, go ahead. Take as many pictures as you guys want. It's fine.
Where to throw this, the bad one?
Oh, you can throw them in the funnel over there.
Okay.
Because that's the coffee.
Can we fire up this bad boy?
Unfortunately not, because they told me that they are cleaning it afterwards, so we can't. And if I do, the administrator is gonna hear it and then I'm gonna get in trouble.
Okay.
Also, it's not plugged. Like, yeah, it's not plugged. So I couldn't, even if I wanted. But it's actually a very simple machine, and I can explain to you how it works without firing it.
Yeah, please.
Without an issue. So, the first thing you're seeing over there is what we call the bed. And the bed is where the coffee basically stays. And there's a little like bolt right there. If you check inside here, you're gonna see like that bolt coming out right there. That bolt is what adjusts what we call the fall. If you wanna work without harming the coffee, you have to adjust the fall so it works with the bare minimum of coffee you can work with without getting clogged. Because the first layer is actually not for coffee, is for if they did a bad job and they left some dried up coffee cherries in there, which are these ones, they're gonna be caught in there. After that, the coffee falls in this funnel. And this funnel brings it to a bolt that has metal brushes. Something like this, but very, very delicate. So while that happens, I'm gonna put this machine to heat up. And as soon as I got it light up, I'm gonna let you know what the hell is up. Oh, yeah, I forgot that I have to open this here. I just always hate how much you have to work this thing up to achieve the flame. One of the weird things for people is that when I tell you, oh, we have master roaster, how old do you think he would be? Because he's master roaster, right?
29.
60, 29. Anyone give me more? Anyone give me less?
17.
17.
45.
45. 25.
Yeah, 29.
20 something.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, then 23.
23. Actually, you're the first group that told me that he might be a young guy. Because most people expect him to be like 50 or over. But coffee, single origin coffee, high quality coffee, tends to be a young thing right now. There's of course owners of farms that might be 40, 50, 60, something like that, and it's fine. But you're gonna find that a ton of the people in the industry are actually very, very young. This is a very young process. This is a thing that a guy from Jardín wanted to make with his dad, who's actually my age, and he convinced his dad something that you have never tasted. What your body does at that moment is stop it, because you might be eating something that's bad. So it needs a little bit of time to check it out, to see like if I feel a little bit bad, and you stop thinking that. That is why when you taste things you've never tasted, first thing you go, because your body's going, whoa, wait, let me figure this out. Like, I don't want to get poisoned. After that, here's my recommendation. You're gonna take this, you're gonna pucker your lips, and you're gonna slurp it really hard and gross. Because the more noise you make, the more of a spray you're making to touch your tongue. And that is actually a very important part. Because the more you atomize it, the better it's gonna taste. So it has to sound like this. The more it sounds, the better. You guys get one each.
Thank you.
Let's try it. Do the first try, and I'm going to see how the machine is going, so that I roast a little bit of coffee for you guys. So this little bit. Oh, I forgot that I brought my homework when I was learning this shit. Let me tell you, that has caffeine in it. So if you're a little bit like under the weather right now, you're not going to be under the weather very soon. I'm going to get you to a higher plane, my friend. Are you okay? Don't you die on me, guys. Good.
Kind
Take
of
just a little
like
bit.
plum wine, yeah. Reminds me of.
So, what's interesting about this? The first thing and the more important thing that's interesting about this for me is actually that it's made by someone who is very close to the tradition and is a new thing. Because to be honest, coffee is one of the things where when we broke the tradition, it died off. And you can't bring the tradition back to life if you don't breathe new life into it. If you don't try new things, it's absolutely impossible to bring something else. So the people who try different things are people who get a lot of respect right now. Yes? That is something that, for example, started to be sold in here, but I'm not giving you this like, oh, and then buy me some wine. If you don't care about it, it's fine. But one thing I appreciate is this guy is doing something different. Other than that, I actually love it. I drink it constantly. I like it a lot. I just want to take this coffee and I dunk it in here. And you can approach. You can see with the flashlight. What's happening is the coffee is inside and it's rotating. That's normal. Why do we rotate the coffee? Because we want that coffee to get the temperature evenly. If you let it sit all together, different parts are going to get different temperatures. So as soon as I do that, let me check the notes that I always had. To start, it's going to descend naturally to 100 degrees. I'm going to lower the temperature a little bit because I know it's a little bit high up, but it's fine. So I have a thermometer right here and I just wanted to lower to 100 degrees. If you see, it was all the way up to 200. It's almost in 100 now. Because what's happening is the coffee is still in temperature and that temperature is being lost by the machine. So it's going to drop to 100. After it drops to 100, it's going to start to climb up. When it descends, when it goes to around 1500, we're going to start smelling. But here's the thing we can do throughout the whole thing. You saw the color of the coffee at the beginning. One thing I can do is get some of the beans and I can actually start showing you how it's changing. This one, for example, not only sucks, now I can show you one little defect, so I'm going to take it up. Here, we don't see a lot of change, but I'm going to be taking one outside per moment and I'm going to show you the shift every several seconds. So, although I'm going to do a little bit of timing, one of the fortunate parts about this is that this machine works with such small quantities that it is very consistent even if you don't time it, just looking at the thermometer. That is something you don't have the luxury of by being over there. The other thing is, you can smell a little bit of it and you're smelling that freshness. It's like you're cooking a little bit of grass. Like at this point, to me it always smells like when there's a sun hitting like fresh chopped grass. There's like that smell. I don't know if you're getting something similar to that. Like if you want to approach, you can actually come and smell. Does it smell similar to you?
Yeah. Can you describe what you smell like?
If you guys want to approach and do it, it's fine. Just like don't touch the machine because the machine's still close to 200 degrees. The coffee smell you're getting, I promise you, is because of the last roast they had over there. At this point, it's not going to have that in particular. Or you know what? I can do something different. Let's get.
Ted, can you describe it?
Yeah.
What kind of notes are you
No,
getting?
let's not describe it. Let's smell it. Just don't touch the coffee because you're going to get burnt.
I'm a little nose down, that's why I'm asking.
Don't worry
I
about
don't
it.
really smell much.
If you guys want to describe it,
Still
just
the
smell
grass
it.
you smell.
For sure. Yeah, grass.
Get the grass.
So, now as you approach, you're going to see a lot of changes. What we would do at this moment is take this off and take the fan to clean it. Now, at this point, you can actually smell it, and you're going to realize that it's a little bit burnt because we did a longer roast than we should have. At this point, it's something close to a medium high, but we went over the medium high. Why did I want over the medium high? Because I wanted to let you know something about this roast.
I like that smell. Tasty.
I'm gonna switch this off, and we are gonna talk about this little baby over here. So,
I have a question.
yes, sir.
What's the taste preference?
It's the app I told you about. And now what he's doing is he already did a pre-infusion where he soaks the coffee at first and also heats up the method. Then he's doing a spiral pouring so he heats all of the coffee. He don't want any pocket of coffee dry. He wants all of the coffee to get an extraction. He starts very delicately to hit all of it and he continues the pouring without cutting the stream if not necessary. So at this point it's just a pre-infusion of the second one. This one is already done. After the whole time gets done, what he's going to do is going to press it to separate it and he's going to pour it in little cups. Do you want him to prepare the 6 cups, bro? Cool, I'm going to prepare it.
But no worries, we have some
gracias.
time because French press brewing is taking time.
Otras tacitas como esas chiquiticas, pueden ser otras 4 si quieres. Lo más chiquito que tengamos. La más chiquita que tengamos está bien. Ain't it? It's like very, very soft. It's not a thing that's really like this.
You didn't say it was for the cheese. I wouldn't have known, yeah.
Man, but I got some. I'm not gonna like, oh, no, it's got blue cheese. But it's like mild. I think they have another one.
Yeah, can we get one?
Yeah, sure. Nos dan otra de queso azul. So, now we're almost at the last part of the history part, which is Colombia. What happens so that coffee gets here in Colombia? Coffee gets to Colombia basically because of monks and priests, and they bring it because it's part of their tradition. Coffee is not a thing we sell, coffee is not a thing we deal with, coffee is just a thing religious people drink, and people drink also like in a very ritualistic manner. Coffee shifts very later on, but the first account of coffee we have in Colombia comes from 1730. Are you staring at so that, what happens? Because I hadn't seen your method, I had seen once, but I hadn't seen yours.
Okay. Because all the particles are going up.
Yes.
So I need to mix and let them go down.
Okay, so it's making if I'm getting it correctly, it's making an even extraction, a more even extraction because you're not getting
Okay,
it
what's going on
separated.
in French press basically, the particles are extremely coarse. So that's the reason extraction period is so long, which is like 4.5 minutes, something like that. That's the reason we are waiting to brew the coffee. That's what's going on. What I did, I mixed with the water, I moved the particles, but the last touch, I'm mixing again I'm allowing actually basically to reach the hot water every single each particle. That's the reason.
Okay, cool.
Basically.
That's his method. I haven't seen anyone doing it, but it seems to make
That
sense
is
to me.
the recipe of Juan.
That's a recipe of one. I've never seen you do that. Weird. Anyway, so Colombia, 1730. 1730 is the first account of coffee we hear, boom. And that boom has one thing going against it. War. We've talked.
I'm sorry, I don't want to serve it, but rather if you want to pass or exactly.
Sure, I'm gonna be over here. So I'm gonna put
And
this.
also, if you guys want, we have more space in the
Oh yeah, the swings are open if you want to go in there.
If you want to.
They're really fun. I'm gonna stop. Take these cups, please. You can use the same cupping methods we talked about earlier on, and we can start discussing what you're feeling in them. What roast did we use, bro?
Medium.
Medium.
Americano.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How's the coffee, the chocolate bread, by the way?
It's good.
Okay, then if you want after that, I can receive orders.
Yeah. It's just that since Rodrigo couldn't go today because of the thing that happened in the factory, I decided to treat them to this. So that's on me. I'm gonna pay for that method. If you want another method, I'm gonna pay for that as well. Like no, this kind of yeah, the other cup of coffee we're gonna ask for him in 1 second.
I'm going up to the food court, which is on the top floor of the mall, to show you one of the better views of my area. Best view of the city. Oh. What is it? sun's getting ready to set. I'm over there somewhere. But imagine sitting here for dinner or lunch. Morning is nice too. The camera's not going to do it justice. Anyway, that's the view from the mall. All the malls are inside, outside. Kids would love this. Look at this. It's about 50 yards across. They'd stay in there all day long. The mall is huge. It reminds me of Ayala Mall in the Philippines. Get this for the food court though, all the food that's over here, there's nothing that's ready already. They cook everything to order. These malls are way nicer than what we had back home. I can't even get it in one picture. It's a shrimp sandwich, cut up shrimp with butter. What in the hell? Oh shoot! A butter syringe. I'm doing good. At least I didn't get the chips. Let's see how it is. It's not bad. What I don't get is the shrimp is kind of cold. It's the same type of roll as the what's it called? The lobster, Cousin's lobster, whatever it is. So it was good. But I kept tasting this texture like, did they put shells in here? Turns out they crumbled up their own potato chips and put it on here, but it was good. It'll work. I must be tripping. The roof opens up. I was just here. It's like a stadium.